Hey guys, welcome back to Cooking and Growing with the Frisbys. I'm Beth. Keith is behind the camera today. Say hi. And yes, so we had really wanted to start this a bit earlier. Today is the 26th of August, and we are looking at 100 degrees, heat index of 110. We wanted to start really early this morning. We were up before 8, but then the lawn people came, so.
Yeah, it would have been very noisy.
We got a little late start, but today I'm going to show you what our garden looks like, not in the peak of its beautiful harvest season, but at the end. So we are definitely towards the end of our growing season here. And
or summer.
That means, so that means some stuff is going to get pulled up, and we're going to amend beds, and then we're going to replant for our fall winter garden. So also today I'm going to be harvesting some flower bulbs to collect seeds, and I'll show you how we do that in just a little bit. But we're going to start all the way at the end, and I picked a couple of these already to show you what they look like. But these are a little tiny pepper. They're from Brazil. They're called pequeños, and they're really great for pickling and putting them on charcuterie boards or throwing them in a salad. So I have a half a jar inside. This might even fill it up. So I'm going to do that today because I have leftover pickling juice from doing my gherkins. So here we have, these are the other peppers that I got from the Mises. They are supposed to be red, but as you can see, every time I get a red one, something comes and eats it.
Well, I guess the bugs know when things are ripe too. I
guess so. So I haven't had a ton of luck with these just yet, but I'm going to keep trying. And these are my zinnias. Aren't they beautiful? So when I said I was going to collect some bulbs, so these are the dead bulbs, right? Just going to pull one off. And these are all seeds, guys. So you can collect them, dry them, save them for next year when you're planting your spring garden, and you will have tons and tons and tons of zinnias. So I've got some for zinnias, I've got some for marigolds, some sunflowers. So all those I'm going to take from today. So here's what end of summer looks like, or end of summer garden looks like. So I did go ahead, this was already dying back. I went ahead and I clipped it from the base, and we do basically no-till here. So that will the roots will just die off during the winter time, and it'll be ready to amend and put something in it come spring. I also we're gonna try this. We had pretty successful summer with bell peppers this year, so I'm actually gonna try and winter my bell pepper plant. So we'll see how that goes. So this is a yellow big boy. It's still producing. It's not the healthiest, but it's still producing. So I'm gonna let it keep growing.
As long as it produces.
Yeah, so this is the other big boy. This is the red. It's very, very unhealthy. I just picked the last tomato that was on it, and
it's dying.
It's definitely dying back. So
it's the end of the season. It still has flowers at the top, but you know, as long as things are willing to go.
Yeah, and I'm not planting anything in these pots for fall, winter, so I'm just going to let it go.
And we still have all of our volunteers that sprouted up.
Yes, these guys.
Just let them go.
So here, look at this zinnia. Oh my gosh. Isn't that beautiful?
I actually took a picture of one, and it's now mounted
in the kitchen.
It's framed and printed.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to make sure that I save seeds from that flower head. Here is another. This was, I think, one of the
cherries.
Cherry tomatoes. I think it was the yellow cherries, though.
No, it was red.
Was it red?
Yeah,
okay.
They're just all turning yellow, but it was red.
Yeah, as they die off. This here is our very successful bell pepper plant. If you can see, if you go over here, we got 3 here. I've got 2 more here. So it's been very successful, and this is going to be the one. Oh, got another look at the baby. So this is the one that I'm going to try and keep over winter. They said you can keep them in a greenhouse, you could keep them in a basement, anywhere that stays relatively warm. You cut it all the way back to like just stalks. So we'll see how that goes. This is a not very healthy rose bush that
Still keeps producing
it's
flowers.
It's giving us flowers, but it's unhealthy, so we're gonna have to cut that one back too. And I have another.
Look at all these volunteers.
Isn't that funny? Okay, come on down here. Thankfully, we have a sunshade. I know, buddy, it's hot. So marigolds is another flower that I want to save seeds. So here is a bulb that's died back. I'm just gonna take it, I'm gonna dry it out, but look at that. Those are all seeds. So rather than buying marigolds next year, I can plant my own. So this was where we had potatoes. We harvested those already. They had died back and we went ahead and harvested them. I've already amended this bed. This bed is gonna be full of beets and radishes. They're not ready to plant until the end of September, so I'm gonna hold off on that. But I have amended it with blood meal, worm castings, and a little fertilizer. We also have some composts that I'll go ahead and just put a layer over the top. I didn't.
Cow manure.
Yep, basically. We do have a couple of plants still alive in here. This is a cherry tomato and a pepper. Of course. This one, for whatever reason, this pepper plant is only producing little tiny bell peppers, but they're awesome. They're still perfectly good to eat and quite yummy. So I did amend this bed as well. So as soon as these are all done, this is going to be spinach and lettuce, but they're definitely not ready to go in yet. Okay, here we are. Sunflowers. Let's see if I can get a sunflower bulb. So when a sunflower dies, they close. Here we go. Here's a good one.
Stop. Hey.
So when a sunflower dies, it closes up. And that is to protect its sunflower seeds. And I'm not gonna do this one just yet. It needs to dry out a little bit. I'll show you another one of the volunteer sunflowers that we got down there that were the yellow ones. But I love these. Look how pretty they are. I would definitely want to save some of those. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, woo, thankfully, let's get out of the heat. Here are our tomatoes. So, I don't know if you can see on the other side. The other side was all of our yellow cherry tomatoes. They died off pretty quickly. So I went ahead and did the same thing. I lobbed them off at the bottom and I'm just letting them die off, and then I will grab up all the vines and throw them into our compost. These guys, on the other hand, are still doing pretty well. It's, like I said, super hot. Thankfully, we have a sunshade on them. They're still producing. I can come out here and get a couple handfuls of tomatoes. I've already harvested these pretty well, but I can come out here every couple days and get a couple handfuls. So I'm letting it go. These as well. As a matter of fact, tonight I'm going to be making a caprese salad. I have some super bright, okay. Pardon our disruption there, but we had to get rid of those aminals. Okay, so like I said, these are still growing. I'm happy with them. I am probably going to let these go for one more week, and then I'm going to have to pull them. We still have some tomatoes in the pots, but regardless of whether or not they're producing, because these are two of the sunniest beds that I have, and so I'm going to obviously be using them for our fall winter garden. So I'm going to need to pull everything, let it die back, and then amend the beds. You can see some of my basil that grows in between. It's already bolted. I'm gonna save these for seeds again. Actually, I have some that is a little bit better over in the herb garden, so I'll show you those in a little bit. Okay, you can see these guys. So these are all my brassicas, both sides. These guys, technically they say they're ready to go in the ground, but it's too hot. It's just too hot. So I'm going ahead and I'm hardening them off. I'm letting them come out and be in the regular sun and
what are they?
Feel the heat. These are all brassicas. So these are Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy.
We started these at the end of July.
Yeah, the end of July. And actually I had a couple of non-starters for my Brussels. I had 2 cups that didn't produce anything, so I just went ahead and started them over. So hopefully that will give us a little succession sow with Brussels. I really have not had great luck with Brussels sprouts, but I am undeterred.
Well, last season we just had that unbelievably cold weather, so we are not to blame.
Okay, so come on down and take a look at my squash. So you can see it's really died back. I do, however, still have production. You can see here I have a zucchini that's still growing. Yay! But it's really died back. I'm very happy though. Here's a little yellow squash. I could probably pull this guy. He's little, but I like it. So it's still producing a little bit. Again, I'm gonna let it go for another week. I'll let that zucchini ripen, like get large enough, and then I will probably pull the rest of the plant. Again, this is one of my sunnier beds, so I'm gonna definitely be planting it for fall, winter. So I will have to definitely get into this bed and get it amended and start growing some more food. Okay, oh, here's another one. Let's go look at these beans. Come on. This is something that is half and half, right? You see some of them are drying up on the vine. So I did succession sow these. So there is a front row that is just letting everything die off. And there is a second row behind it. Look at these beautiful beans. I love them. Oh, I'm gonna need to get my scissors to clip these off, but look at how gorgeous. I love these too, they taste so good. So we have tons and tons of them coming out. So this bed is not gonna be for anything but carrots and possibly peas. I'm planting peas in 2 places. I'm gonna plant peas in one of the tomato beds, and then I'm gonna plant them back here as well, along with carrots. I don't know how well the peas are gonna do or how long they're gonna last, so it's up for grabs. So we'll see. I didn't have great luck with them this year in this bed, so we'll see. I have more basil. You can see this basil is a lot younger. It's not bolting as much. The leaves are just beautiful, they're huge. So I'm going to be doing some pesto very soon because I have tons of basil this year and I love it. These are my cucumbers. Where are my cucumbers? These guys died off pretty quick as it got hotter and hotter. They just didn't do very well in this heat. Even though I have them planted under this tree. I have some friends who had bumper crops of cucumbers this year. I'm not one of them. However, I have already done dill pickle relish, sweet gherkins, cucumber water, cucumber ice cubes, and I still have some cucumbers sitting inside, so we have enough cucumbers at least to finish out this season. So this is definitely, now I'm not planting anything in this bed for the fall winter. It won't get enough sun at any part of the day, so that's fine. I will still amend it. You see, this was my dill. I let it go to seed, and you see all the seeds are off the ends. Well, there's a couple there. You can see the dill seeds. But I'm gonna let this go ahead and let the seeds volunteer for next year. So we
Such
have
a difference
tons and
from
tons.
when it was thriving. Like, look at this sad little cucumber trying to hang on. But we had a very successful Armenian cucumber season.
Oh, very, very. And this is our one watermelon plant that did not do very well at all. We did get one watermelon. It fell to the ground. It's not anywhere near harvest. So I don't know what happened to the watermelons. Last year we got like 6 of them. So I don't know what went wrong. I did change the spot that I had them in, so maybe they didn't like being under the tree so much. So we'll see. Okay. This was my worst blunder I have ever done while gardening.
It happens.
No. Can you hear okay? We can hear okay, right? Okay. This was absolutely the worst blunder I've ever done. These are my eggplants, and if you've seen any of my cooking or any of my Facebook, I harvested a couple of these little guys. They're little Hansels. They're only a couple inches, and they are great in stir fry, amazing in stir fry. And then I had planted these Black Beauties back here, which are the large ones that you see in the grocery stores, but they all had ants. You see all this terrible pitting and stuff. They had ants so bad. So I walked into the greenhouse and I grabbed a spray bottle that I thought was neem oil, and it wasn't. It was actually an insecticide for ants and not a plant-friendly insecticide. So unfortunately,
Killed it.
I killed them. And I'm very upset. Because
they were doing well.
They were doing so well, and I only got to have one meal with my eggplants, but that's okay, lesson learned. Okay. Keith, can you get over here? I want to show them what's going on here. This bed is my potato bed. I have 3 different kinds of potatoes in here. I have Kennebecks, red, and russet. So you can see some of the stalks that have died off, which is a sign that your potatoes are ready to harvest. We were supposed to be doing harvesting of potatoes today, but it is too bloody hot. So it will wait maybe
Stay
tomorrow.
tuned. We'll show you.
So here though, you see that some of these are still green. Why are they green? Well, because they have grown so much, they're up to the top they're bursting out of the soil, basically. So they're regrowing, they're replanting themselves. So I need to get in there and really get all these up. So maybe tomorrow. More peppers than I know what to do with. I think I'm gonna, maybe I can just give these away.
Sharing.
Share, why not?
We did it with our cherry tomatoes.
Yeah. These are shoshitos. I did get duped. I think I've done 1 or 2
The big
explaining
what would they
Peppergate.
Peppergate.
So yes, I got shoshitos instead of poblanos, and it's so funny because I cannot find a poblano pepper even in a grocery store.
I think we're gonna have to go to a natural store like a Whole Foods or a Sprouts.
Yeah, something.
Their variety of their produce is a little bit wider.
Yeah. So, and then I do have these jalapenos, which I need an extra one. I'm making some zesty zucchini relish today. So I needed an extra jalapeno. He looks like he's been eaten up a little bit.
Yeah, like somebody tried.
Or
there was a rabbit in the yard. I came out
that had
here.
babies.
I came out here a couple of weeks ago and I was watering one of the beds, and 3 little babies shot out from under the foliage I was watering. But
So,
you know what? There's plenty of food to go around.
yeah, and I mean, obviously, these peppers really don't usually have any pests. There's one. That's a perfect pepper.
Yeah, it is.
So I had a bumper crop of jalapenos last year, which is why I only planted 2. And I have jars and jars of pickled jalapeno peppers. So, and I have tons of shoshito peppers. So maybe that will be another sharing. Oh, look how big this one is. These peppers are, we've had them a couple of times with dinner. Just fry them up in a pan. And then I have them for appetizers, like with a, like just heat them up in the pan and get a little spicy mayo or something like that and dip them. They're really good. Rosemary, what are we doing? This we'll talk about real quick. This is our compost from the yard clippings. This is compost from food. So we will mix the two, and we'll be able to use this probably in the spring to amend our beds after our fall winter garden. Up this way, I do already have, and this is very interesting, I already have a broccoli and a cauliflower growing. These I had started for spring and nothing ever came of them. So I had thrown these in this bed, but look at this, totally new life.
Just in time, hopefully, for the fall garden.
Hopefully I can keep them alive.
If the heat will let up.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, here we go. So these were some volunteer sunflowers that we got, I'm presuming from the birds on Lori's side, but they were just like little mini, my hands are full. I'm going to pull this and show you. There are little sunflower seeds in here. Where are they? I pulled one out yesterday. There we go. Isn't that cool? So I will save these and we will replant again for next year. So exciting. All right.
Sorry about the lawn stuff, guys. There's never a day in this neighborhood that somebody doesn't have a piece of lawn equipment going. And they always turn it on whenever we're shooting.
Seems to be. Okay, so believe it or not, these are more potatoes. I was shoving potatoes anywhere I could. I won't do it again next year. It's obviously hindered this jasmine pretty badly. So once these
they're not died off, they're almost there. This is a perfect example of some that are just about there, but not quite.
Not quite. So again, we'll let them go, and then once I finally pull them, that'll be it. I'm not gonna plant in here again. I'm gonna let, like the little things, like I've got some thyme in here and the broccoli and the cauliflower, but something large like this that really sprouts, you can see there's a potato right here. So they have really spread out and they're obviously hindering the jasmine versus this jasmine over here that has nothing else hindering it. So
it's doing well.
It's doing really well.
And I train this so whenever I see a long spindle at the bottom, I weave it into the arch, and you can see it's just doing it on its own.
Yeah, I love it. Alrighty, so here we have asparagus. This will be next year's, hopefully, wonderful spring, summer artichoke or asparagus. But it smells really lovely too. But you can see it's already dying back, so eventually I'll get out here and cut it back. My herb garden here, these are some tomatoes that we just threw up here. You can, again, they're dying back on their own. It's just end of season. All my basil up here has definitely started to go to seed. Dying back on its own. Again, more pesto. But you can just see how everything just runs its course and then it says I'm done. Yeah. So that is it for today, guys. I'm going to go get my butt inside and harvest some of my seeds for my flowers and finish making my zesty zucchini relish. And stay my butt in the house because it's hot. But thanks for hanging out with us today, and we will see you soon.
See you guys.